You're listening to the Magnetic Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Calandra Martin, intuitive brand designer for spiritual entrepreneurs. The Magnetic Boss Podcast is where visionaries come together to openly share wisdom and authentic conversations. I know that you are ready to leave your legacy in the world and become sought out in your industry. I also know that you are sick and tired of getting overlooked. You're ready to have a magnetic business. I'm here to help you create your magnetic brand. It's my mission to help you show up confidently with a professional, irresistible online presence. If you're in this for the long game and all in on the big vision you have for your business, let's dive in. When I work with a client on their brand and we are creating something from the ground up, or we are recreating something that maybe once felt aligned, but there is such a pull and a need for evolution, the number one thing that I focus on for my client is the longevity of the brand that we are building. And I want to really elaborate on what this means today, because I see so often people DIYing their business and then burning it to the ground a few weeks or months or even years later because whatever it was that they built wasn't sustainable. It wasn't something that they could create momentum with long term. And I personally pride myself in the way that I have built my brand and the way that I lead with Magnetic Boss Studio, because I have personally gone through so many evolutions and so many shifts and redirections in my business, and yet my audience is still along for the ride. And the people that have been following me for years are eager to jump into my offers and eager to promote and refer clients to me, because at the end of the day, they know who I am, they know what I stand for, they understand the value of my work and my expertise. And this is what happens when my clients go through the branding process with me too. They create brands that grow with them. And rather than constantly having this knee-jerk reaction of, oh, I need to update, oh, I need to follow the trends, oh, I need to be able to share this offer in this way, and having everything in your business feeling sped up or like you're falling behind, when you create a brand that has longevity, you're able to be in a really grounded space and your energy is able to take it slow. And I don't mean slow in the sense that your business grows slowly, but I mean slow in this taking a step out of this fast-paced social media world that we live in and having deep trust in knowing that your business gets to grow, whether you're following these trends or staying up with the latest things or not. A lot of my social media clients come to me with this stress and this concern that if we don't follow these trends and we don't use whatever trending audio is currently at the top performing audio, that they're going to fall behind. And I always reassure them that, one, you cannot be falling behind, because if you have this idea that you are falling behind, it means that you're comparing your business and your social media and your platforms to somebody else. And that is not the vibe around here. My clients are not here for burn and churn in their business. They are not here for quick results that don't last. And the clients that I work with know that their sole mission and what they're here to do, why they were put here on this planet, is going to be successful no matter what. And it doesn't require having this comparison to other people, because what you do and the way that you do it is going to be so different from anybody else. So when I'm speaking to longevity, what I mean by that is that your brand gets to shift and evolve. So when we talk about branding, there's so much nuance here. There's so much that is involved in branding. But at the core, we want to be looking at your mission, your values, the messaging of what you're here to share, and your ideal audience, the market research that you have done, for industry comparison and making sure that you have a unique selling point, your USP. And we're talking about your visuals. We're talking about your colors, your fonts, your typography, the elements or designs or illustrations that you're using, any textures or background patterns that you might be incorporating in your visual branding, as well as your brand photography and what the actual look and feel of your business is. So where people get stuck is being able to create something that they can sustain long term. Because it's really easy to go on Pinterest and find a bunch of pretty colors and say, okay, this feels really good today, right? It's kind of like going into your closet and picking out the shirt that you're going to wear for today. Maybe today you're feeling really purple, but then tomorrow you're feeling like you want to wear a pretty pink. Those two colors are very different, right? They're very different. They give off a different energy. They give off a different feel. And so when you are picking your branding, especially your visual branding, we want to be sure that this is going to be a common theme over a long period of time. And one, it needs to be a common theme in the sense that it is in alignment with you. You want your brand to be something that you're excited about sharing and you love creating visuals for and you love getting your brand photos done for a long period of time. But we also want to make sure that the colors that you're using and the feel and the vibe of your brand resonates with the people that you are creating offers for. So for my business, for an example, when I first started in the online space, I saw so much pink and gold. And so initially, before I really understood branding and before I really understood how online businesses work, I thought for sure that if I used pink and gold in my branding and all of my graphics, that people would be drawn to my brand and they would hire me and I would make a fuck ton of money. And I'm sure you can guess that I was entirely wrong about that idea. That did not work in my favor. And not only did it not work in my favor, but I felt super misaligned with the pink and the gold. Now, I love gold, but the pink in particular is not my color. It never has been. It probably never will be entirely, although I will say I have been wearing so much more pink since becoming a girl mom, and I don't know what that is about, but the second that I was pregnant with my daughter, I started being really called to wearing pink or like a blush rose color. But all of that aside, I was not a pink person. Never have been. And instead, I was able to really identify pretty quickly, thankfully, that I am really drawn to purple. And it didn't have to be this or that. I could have gone with an entirely different color palette. In fact, for a while, I was trying to go with a green color palette for my brand because I was sharing essential oils and I thought I needed to be earthy and very nature focused, which was great for that brand, but not for my personal brand. And so I really began to identify with these purples, but not just any purple, right? We had to feel into the energy of what that purple was supposed to be. And that has also evolved over time. But the message here is that when you are choosing your brand and your visual brand identity, you want it to resonate with you and your audience. And so for my audience, because I work with a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs and women that are into alternative healing and mystical sides of things, the woo-woo women of the world, they also very often are purple people. And you have no idea how many brands I have created for my clients that involve a purple color palette. But that's because I naturally attract those types of people because of my very clear purple brand. Now, that has evolved. I have been using less and less purple, and that is mostly because intentionally I wanted the purple to be less of the focal point of my brand, and I also wanted to add a bit more of a luxury feel to my branding. And so we have been really working with the gold, the cream, and the white and the black color palette. And that is something that has been adjusted over time, but I really feel in the zone with that. I really feel aligned with that. And the purple hasn't gone away, but it is more of an accent or a highlight versus my primary color palette. And if that doesn't make sense to you from an auditory standpoint, go look at my website and you'll see what I'm saying. The way that I emphasize colors in my brand is very intentional. And so we want to create a brand for you that is intentional in the sense that it is something that you can implement on your website, on your social media, wherever it is that you're sharing your business, and to be able to do that in a really natural way. And so when I look at my personal life and my personal aesthetic, if you come into my home or look at my wardrobe or ever notice me on Instagram stories, you will notice that I naturally follow the color palette of my brand. And yes, I use filters often in Instagram stories because it adds an extra level of an aesthetic. But if you see me in a day-to-day, I personally have a vibe. And I'm using my brand as an example because honestly, it's just easy. But I could share this with any brand out there. You will notice these patterns. And the most successful people that have personal branding are going to be creating these brands that are really true to their identity. And that is why it is so important to have your own soul signature. The way that you show up in the world, the way that you are able to translate that to an audience and position yourself as a brand authority, both from a messaging and foundation standpoint in your marketing, but also from a visual representation of your brand. And the more aligned it is, the easier it gets to be to show up in your business. The more excited you get to be about your business and the more confident you are in showing up and sharing your business. And so this idea of longevity is something that is created when you have this alignment. And my friend Jen and I have created this amazing collaboration that we're sharing with you, Soul Signature. We have more to be sharing with you in these next few weeks. But right now, what I encourage you to do, if you are thinking to yourself, maybe something needs to change in my branding, or if you're just getting started in the branding process and you really want to show up with this professional look, but also to have that alignment with who you are and to build the longevity in your business, I want to invite you to download our Aligned Business Blueprint. This blueprint is going to give you an idea of how you can pull your unique human design and the things about you that make you you to be able to then cultivate a brand or your next offer with this confidence, with this clarity, with understanding how you can show up powerfully with your unique energy and how that can work for you in a way that's not going to lead to burnout or resentment or bitterness or feeling like your business isn't quite where it needs to be. So this is a free resource. I will put the link in the show notes. If you go to Soul Signature Brand, you will be able to access this freebie and download it. And if you are in the state of your business where you're ready to make an investment in your evolution and you are ready to really go deep in your unique process and understanding how to build longevity in your business and how to find that alignment, and you want the one-on-one support, I encourage you to reach out and see if Soul Signature is the right fit for you. And if you take anything away from this episode, I hope that it is that you understand that your business is something that gets to carry you through everything that you do in your life. Your brand is something that gets to help you in positioning yourself for that next step, whether it's launching a new offer or going down a new career path or seeking out your next collaboration or speaking opportunity. Wherever you go in the world, your soul signature, your brand, your essence is what is going to help you with setting yourself apart and doing that in a way that feels really good to you, that allows you to have a business and a brand that grows with you over time. So again, you can find that link to the Aligned Business Blueprint, your free guide for creating clarity in your next steps, at soulsignaturebrand.com. I will put the link in the show notes. And I would love to hear your takeaways. Make sure you're tagging me on your Instagram stories. I want to hear what revelations you might have. And stay tuned because over these next couple of months, Jen and I are going to be sharing so many juicy topics with you around human design and utilizing your human design in your branding. This is going to be such a good conversation, this first conversation that we have planned for February, so you do not want to miss this. And I will be sharing more with you very soon.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe wherever you are listening so you never miss a beat. For episode show notes, visit calandramartin.com/podcast. Your iTunes reviews and your sharing of the show helps us reach more magnetic bosses just like you. Until next time.